What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Devin the Bear. Today we have a very special episode because we have very special guests with us. We have the creator behind our intro song, Antonio, who is Hope Era, and then we have the creator of the art and the design of Devin the Bear, and that's Gilbert Soul, Gilberto Galaviz. Go ahead and say hello.
What's up? Yeah, I'm Antonio Limas. I am the vocalist and guitar player of Hope Era. I'm also the main contributor to lyrics and instrumentals. We're also looking for a drummer, and we're happy to be here. Hello.
Cool. This is my first podcast. I don't know if it's yours. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so we're having our cherries popped. But yeah, let me get closer to the mic here. But yeah, my name is Gilbert. I go by Gilbert Soul. I make R&B, hip hop music. I'm a producer, singer, and I've been making music for a while now. But yeah, I'm excited to do this podcast, and my Instagram is G Galvis Graphics.
That's the one for the art,
For the-
and then
for
for
the
the
graphics,
music, it's Gilbert Soul.
No, it's Rely on Realness.
Rely on Realness. I
Yeah.
apologize.
On Twitter,
But,
it's Gilbert Soul.
yeah. And one of my personal favorites that I will suggest everybody go listen to is Cursed. I had that song play at my wedding. He was actually playing the music at my wedding. He was there. Thank you so much. That is a very good song. I feel like it's such an easy song to listen to. It's very
Appreciate
good.
it. Thank you for inviting me. I was nervous then. I'm nervous right now. So
It's all love. It's all
You
good.
wanna- very familiar territory.
You want a beer?
no, I'm good.
No, I'm just
I will take another.
Well, yeah, no, I told Zach. Zach presented me with the idea about having you on, and I was super down for it. I was like, no, we got. I was like, anything we can do to give back to those guys who did our logo and did the music. I mean, that that gave us the chance to have your music as our intro, and then you went out of your way to do the logo for us as well. I mean, I was super excited. So I'm really excited also just to kind of take a break. I mean, I love talking MMA. I'll never get tired of talking about it, but today's about talking about y'all and talking about music. So it's really cool just to kind of venture out and talk about something different, because I think it adds a different element to what we do as well. So, yeah.
If you don't mind, actually, on the topic of MMA,
What's up?
I actually had a really weird dream last night. Me and my girlfriend were watching this. It's this channel that goes over, I guess, sociopaths and murderers and stuff like that. And they did an episode on Chrissy Mack and War Machine.
I
War
fucking
Machine.
knew you were going to say
yeah,
that
me
one.
too,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, and we watched that, and I fell asleep in the middle of the episode, and I had a dream where they were training me and Ultimate Warrior to fight, and I was like, I don't really want to fight. I don't really want to do it. What am I doing here right now? I don't want to be shirtless in front of you. I don't want to fight. All these thoughts were going through my head, and it's weird that I remember this because I never remember my dreams.
Me either.
But I woke up right before my fight started, and I was like, man, I'm relieved. I did not want to fight this guy. Like,
You were going to have to fight War Machine?
I don't know who I was going to have to fight.
Oh, okay,
This is a
okay.
big dude. And I'm like, man, in my dream, I was tiny. I mean, I'm not the biggest dude, but in my dream, I felt tiny compared to these dudes. And I was like, man, I'm about to eat my shit right now, bro. And then I woke up, and I was just like, okay,
Thank God.
maybe MMA is not for me. But
Or
yeah.
maybe that's
Well, I
a
don't know,
sign
you're right.
telling you, hey, you need to learn to defend yourself.
This is true. Because I thought about that too. And me and my cousins used to do like grappling and stuff against each other. And I wasn't afraid or anything like that. It's not that I'm afraid. It's just that I don't think I could take a professional, if I guess watching that War Machine documentary, that just scared me, dude. You beat people up like it was nothing.
Real quick, do you know who War Machine is?
I-
Alex Schoonover, is that how you say his last name?
Was Marvel.
Yeah.
Alex Schoonover. So he was dating Christy Mack, who was a former porn star. He was a former MMA fighter, and he went fucking nuts one day. She broke up with him, but he was still harassing her. He showed up to her house and beat the shit out of her and her boyfriend at the time, or a friend.
Yeah, boyfriend.
And I don't know what happened to that guy. Did he kill him or no?
No, he just got beat the fuck up, and they made an agreement. He said, "I won't go to the cops. You just let me go," because he basically told him, "Hey man, you only have two choices. You either kill me right now or you let me go. Because, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You got me in a chokehold right now. What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
And he let him go. He said, "All right, I won't tell the authorities."
Mhm.
But I mean, of course, he's gonna tell the authorities.
Yeah.
So
And so Alex Truenover just went absolutely berserk and like beat her almost into a coma. It was really, really gruesome. It was sad. And he ended up getting life in prison for it. And he showed no remorse whenever they were in court. Even now, like he apologized. And he says he's a changed man, but I mean, even the court system is like, no, we're keeping you here. Like you're an absolute psychopath.
oh, yeah, good choice.
Yeah, no, it was really, really sad. She's doing great now. She retired from her acting career.
Yeah, acting.
And so she retired, and I think now she's an advocate in I want to say like domestic violence. Yes, thank you.
Nice.
So
Crazy.
like yeah, she's she's advocating that just to look out for signs and stuff, and I think it's important that she's doing that because he was. I don't know, like, who's that? Matt Serra. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. Do y'all know what the Ultimate Fighter is?
I do now.
Yeah. So the Ultimate Fighter was they would get 16 contestants and they would take them onto into a like separate gym out in Vegas with Dana White, like a president of the UFC. Whoever won a contract in the UFC, and that's where he started out. He was on there. And Matt Serra is a former UFC champion. He's an MMA legend, really respected guy. He was his coach in there because they would split up the 16 people in teams of 8. And even Matt Serra said he's like something's fucking off about him. Like he is not right at all. He's like I mean something's wrong with him. I could just tell whenever I talk to him. And like Matt Serra pretty much called it back in like 2004 that he was off. And I think that's absolutely insane when somebody pointed that out. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
When was this?
I don't know when this happened. Was it 2016?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 5 years ago, roughly.
Wow.
Yeah,
I thought it was something like from back then.
He has War Machine tattooed on his neck.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know that guy. That guy just, you could tell he was off. But yeah, no, that was just a random dream I had. I know y'all don't want to talk about MMA too much.
You
but
know what? I'm glad
like I said, I can talk about it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just funny, you know, that the night before I come here, I have that dream. But
Yeah, no, that's what's it called? What do you say?
I'm saying I'm glad he woke up too. Cause
Yeah.
whenever you're dreaming that you're fighting, your punches are really slow. So
Oh yeah.
Or you hit and they just don't feel it.
Yeah.
It's like this guy has a granite chin. What the fuck is this?
Feels like I'm punching a pillow or something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird. Yeah.
That's funny, but yeah, man. Yeah, dreams can be pretty wild, especially with that stuff, because you wake up and then you'll sit there and think about it all day, and it just puts you in this whole existential crisis, almost like, what did this mean, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, like you talked about too, is like when Zach pointed out, this could be a dream about you thinking like, okay, maybe I need to learn how to defend myself properly. Like I had a conversation the other day with somebody, and she was talking about how she wanted to take up like boxing and stuff. And it's like, even just with like 3 months of training, you're already going to be ahead of the people around you, and you'll feel more confident about your abilities. If something is to happen, you have to defend yourself as well. So I always think it's important to, you know, at least take some time to at least learn a discipline in something like that, you know?
Yeah, I definitely think about it more now that I'm going to be a dad.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to train, you know, do push-ups and run, but it would be nice to be able to learn how to professionally fight. So,
Well, I can teach you the basics.
that'd be kind of cool, to be honest.
I'll do it.
Give me another reason to hang out with you more. So, yeah.
Gilbert, you want to learn how to fight? You want to learn how to fight too?
Well, actually, I was taking these classes called Jeet Kune Do.
Jeet-Kune-Do. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
I was taking it for like maybe a year. I forgot every single thing though. No, but I did take some things with me. Like as far as being aware at all times. You got to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, Bruce Lee was a special individual for sure.
Yeah. Another thing, like the first thing that they taught us was if you don't want to fight, if the first person that's coming towards you and they're trying to fight with you, you don't want to make it seem like you're the first one to attack, I guess. You just raise your hands up. And it's also a defense mechanism because you're using your elbows, because you can hit them with your elbows. So that's something that I learned at the first class that I took.
You should look into Boss Rutan. Boss Rutan does a lot of cool stuff. There's like one like notorious self-defense video he's done where he's in like a bar setting. But one thing he does talk about, which is I think really cool, is he tells you like what you should do. And anytime someone is aggressively confronting you, stand with your feet and your legs in the fighting position, and then like cross your arms like this, put your elbow into your hand, but outside, so like that, and then touch your chin like this and just be like, hey man, look, I don't want to fight you. Hey, I don't want to fight you. Because now you're here, and he's like, you can do headbutts, but you have your hands up. So if you ever need to lift your hands, boom. And he's like, if you ever need to throw elbows, you got elbows. If you ever need to just create space, you're doing this.
Yeah.
So he's like, you're just standing here. You already have your hands up. You're ready to go, and your feet are ready to go. So you can just stand there, create space. You can throw hits. You can throw close quarter hits. Pretty cool. Just something.
You pull off
That's
a real nice
interesting.
shoulder roll as well. Someone throws a punch at you, just roll the shoulder.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an advantage to being a bigger dude, as in yourself, or do you think there's an advantage to being a smaller dude, like me and Gilbert?
When you know what you're doing, the advantage becomes much greater. But when they know what they're doing, doesn't matter what your size is, they're going to handle you. That being said, if you know what you're doing and you're bigger, generally it's going to work in your favor against someone who doesn't know what they're doing. If you're smaller and you know what you're doing against someone who's bigger, it is a little harder. Size does play. It is always going to be an advantage being bigger.
Okay.
But if you don't know what you're doing, you're wasting your size. There's a lot of fighters who have muscle for no reason. Like there's a bunch of different.
We were talking about that before.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of fighters who they have muscle for no reason. Like they're just big, they hit hard, but they don't know what they're doing.
What example would be like Kimbo Slice and that one?
No, Kimbo had amazing boxing, not the best cardio, and not the best technique when it came to like defending against kicks or takedowns. But he had great boxing, and whenever he actually went to boxing and fought as a pro boxer, he was very good. I think he went undefeated.
Yes, I think he was undefeated.
I only mentioned his name because I remember this viral video going about where he like got beaten up by a street fighter or whatever.
Oh, by the cop.
Yeah.
Is that the
Whatever
big
it
white
was.
guy? Yeah, I know what you're talking
Somebody.
about.
It was in a ring though.
Oh, I know what you're talking
It
about.
was in an
yeah,
arena
like
and
knocked
he got
out in like
beaten
20
up.
seconds.
Exactly,
Yeah,
real
yeah.
quick. Yeah.
Oh, Seth Petrozelli?
Yeah, Seth Petrozelli.
So
Okay.
that fight actually has a really cool story, and
Tell us.
after this we'll start talking more about y'all.
Okay.
So that
Sorry.
fight actually basically ended that whole promotion because that was it Elite XC.
Yep.
So Elite XC was this MMA organization. They were a big promotion. They were trying to become a big promotion. They were like the next big thing. They're like, we got Kimbo Slice.
We have Ken Shamrock.
We have Kimbo Slice, Ken Shamrock. Did they have Fedor?
No, I don't think they did.
Okay, well, anyway, so they have all these big names, and they're like, Kimbo's probably the most promising because of all of the hype that he's bringing. The internet loves this guy, and he was supposed to be set to fight someone, and they pulled out. And then they were like, all right, let's bring in Seth Petrozelli. He was from the UFC.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, so we're going to have you fight him. Don't finish him. Just go in there.
Yeah, keep it standing.
Let him look good. Let him show it off and fight him. But don't finish him. Don't, like, put him away. And Seth Petrozelli was like, okay. And then went in there and knocked him out in, like, 10 seconds or less.
Yeah.
And actually, because of that fight, they ceased to exist. Like, after that night, I don't think they had another event.
Well, who else? Seth Petrozelli ended up speaking out to the media and said, yeah, no, they were going to pay me more to keep the fight standing. Like, don't take it to the ground, which is fucking illegal, like Dana White said. It is not something you do. It's fixing fights. And it's just saying they would have lost their promoter's license. It just would have been it would have involved federal courts with what they were doing. And so they just couldn't afford it anyway. They went bankrupt, and that was their last show they ever put on. And
Terrible.
So that little video has got a pretty big history behind it. It's pretty
It's
funny.
so long to get to the fight, and the fight is only 20 seconds.
And so that's Seth Petrozelli wasn't even supposed to fight him. I think he took the fight on like a day's notice. Ken Shamrock, he wrestled in the WWE. He also was one of the first guys in the UFC on the UFC 1, and he was supposed to fight Kimbo Slice, and he suffered cut in training backstage, I think like the day before the fight or the day of the fight, and they had to scrap the fight, which they did end up fighting eventually, and even that fucking fight was fixed.
Sucked.
It was fixed. Yeah, even that fight was fixed when they finally fought. Who was that? Ken Shamrock took him to the ground, and he got him in a chokehold, and then out of nowhere, Kimbo Slice just powers out of it, and then I think after they got up, Kimbo Slice really punched him, and then after the fight, Ken Shamrock was Ken Shamrock was talking shit to Kimbo Slice. Why the fuck did you hit me that hard? You weren't supposed to go that hard. And so it just completely blew the cover that it was supposed to be a fixed fight.
Man, that's terrible.
So, yeah. So, back to y'all
Anyway,
guys.
back to y'all.
Yeah, that was
so you both have new music coming out soon. What's up with that? Let's go first.
Well,
Gilbert Soul, what's going on there?
I've been working on my second album. The beginning of the year, I decided that I wanted to get started on it. I'm gonna name it Coffee Break. I haven't told that to anybody, so it's announced here. Coffee Break.
Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. Coffee Break. And I don't know. I mean, it's different compared to the first album.
Yeah.
It's more laid back. The first one was a little more techno-y, I guess, in my ears. Because of
this one with Curse
song.
Yeah.
This one's more like jazzy.
With
a lot of piano involved.
What was the song that you've released for it?
For this new album?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually for the third album that's coming up. I'm working
you're
on a third
already
album as well.
Oh, you're crazy.
Whoa.
Do you have a release date on this second album, Coffee Break?
I'm planning on it to be, Lord willing, October 1st.
October 1st.
Which is the National Coffee Day.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So, Lord willing, if it works out, it'll come out that day. I'm hoping that it does. So
That's awesome.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. How about Hope Era? What's going on there?
We just recently released a EP called Izanami, and what's crazy about this EP is that I think Izanami is about 5 to 6 years old now. We recorded it with 3 different producers, and each time it sounded different, and it didn't work out. We had a vocalist originally before before the vocalist in To and Fro, and on Spotify we have another song called To and Fro, and it's so removed from everything else we have because it just sounds different.
Yeah.
You know? So
I actually can't. Not that I can't stand it, but I look. When it came out, I was like, "Oh man, this is pretty cool."
okay.
And then hearing what you have now, and going back and listening to and Fro now, I'm like, I hate it.
It's different.
I hate it.
I don't own that song, so
Yeah.
I can't remove the song until the singer of that song is done paying yearly for it. It won't get removed from the Hope Era Spotify, which is fine. You know, I
It's
helped
part of your
write
history.
it. You know, it's part of the history. That was the first song we released. But me, with Lighthouse, that was our beginning. And Izanami technically came before Lighthouse, but was released afterwards. Izanami was all me. It was supposed to be for this band called Fear Me King Me.
I remember it.
But Fear Me King Me broke up due to difficulties between both vocalists. One had a baby, one had a career going in Florida, which he's doing really good for himself. I'm glad he did what he did because I don't think he would have gone as far trying to pursue Fear Me King Me as he is now, you know. But still, also here too, I'm glad I did Hope Era. Izanami's like 5 years old, but Disposition and Polarity, those songs are only like 3 years old. I didn't release them in the past only because they weren't complete in my eyes. They still needed vocals. They still needed bass. They still needed like a solo here and there. So the way you hear it now isn't the way I imagined it, but it was the way that I decided to just release it because, hey, it took too much time. 5 years is too long.
Well, what would you think? You know how some bands will have, like, Johnny Craig or whoever has I Can Still Feel Her, part 1 through like 6 or 5 or whatever. What do you think about doing something like that?
So, actually, the next song that's coming out is Lighthouse Part 2.
Really?
The lyrics are done. Yes, the lyrics are ready. I tried writing the guitar part, but the only problem is I need a drummer. So Lighthouse came out so easily because I had a drummer who just felt my guitar parts. He just felt it. He was ready. He knew what he was doing. And
Was that Juan?
Juan, yes.
Shout out to Juan Cabrera.
He's amazing. So he makes logos. He's in 2 bands right now called Ethereal and Diosa, which, by the way, I'm playing with them September 4th with my recent band called Grimlock. We're like a really hardcore Slipknot sounding band. So if you like that, check it out, Grimlock. We're playing September 4th at Scout Bar. We're the first freaking band to go on at 4:30 p.m. Jesus Christ. But back to Hope Era. I'm really trying hard to push us out there more because I felt like with Hope Era, we had a pretty decent following. We had more to say and we had more songs to present as far as like what I wanted to say. It
Right.
was all my opinions, all my voice, all my feelings going into the Hope Era lyrics and the guitar parts. It was a trio. There was only a bass player, a guitar player, and a drummer. That's all we did. We went straight into the shows just as raw as possible. Every time I felt the energy, every time I felt the vibe, and it was just so amazing. I miss doing that because COVID took that away from us for almost 2 years now, and shows are still like just now starting to get back into like fruition. And to be honest, I'm very jealous of the bands who can just go out there and do it now because I'm still limited because I need a drummer. So I feel like right now would be the perfect time to play music if you're an artist, but I'm being held back by the fact that I don't have a drummer. So again, if you guys are interested, let me know.
I like to play drums. I just don't have a drum set.
I wish I was a drummer.
But let's go. I have a question for you in just a second. I want to ask Gilbert. So with your sound, you said that you switched it up a little bit. You went more kind of jazzy with your sound. What made you kind of want to experiment with that? What made you want to just kind of switch up your sound from this electronic kind of pop sound, like this, this flowy that you have going, to this what you have now?
Well, I recorded the very first song that's going to be in this album in 2016.
Right.
And judging from the way that sounded, I wanted to follow along with that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of piano involved in that first song.
Yeah.
So I wanted to keep it that way. It's not going to be like repetitive. It changes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, what was your question?
So like, what kind of made you want to switch the sound up? Like,
The
what made you
sound?
want to
Okay.
experiment? Like, what was the inspiration for that?
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to be stuck on one vibe.
Right.
I want to be able to, express myself in different ways.
Right.
So this one, I feel it's going to be something that maybe if you heard the first album
Mm-hmm.
and you liked it, you might not like the second one.
Right.
Because it's completely different. But it does have my self in it, my soul, I guess.
Yeah.
And the reason why I named myself Gilbert Soul is because whenever I die, I'm leaving the music behind.
Right.
So that's why I want to leave everything that I can in every way that I can.
Yeah, and I don't think that it would mean that if they like the first album, they might not like the second. I think what it is, there's a lot of artists that switch up their sounds each album. Like the big one I think about, and whether you love him or hate him, is Post Malone. Post Malone is very, very good at it. He switches up his sound a lot, and he does very well at it.
Yeah.
J. Cole does it as well. He switches up his sound a lot, which each of his albums, I mean, if you look at 2014 Forest Hills Drive to to For Your Eyes Only, completely more that there's just those two sounds. I think that I like. For Your Eyes Only was one of my favorite albums from him because it was more poetic. It was more in touch with who he is and what's going through his mind. As and he talks about what it's like being a young black male in America and the struggles of wanting to pass that on to generations and stuff. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Like, so what was what artists did you ever listen to whenever you would kind of go into that?
Into this new album?
Yeah.
I can't say that I got inspiration from any other artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to sound egotistical with it, but it's just that I don't know. I just wanted to dig deep inside my brain and see what I can come up with.
Right.
That possibly hasn't been heard before. The thing with music in my mind is like sometimes I feel like, why am I making music? Because it feels like everybody has already said everything already, so it's kind of difficult creating whenever maybe that song about love has already been said.
Yeah.
So it's just like difficult. So I really don't have an artist that I can think on the top of my head. The first album was The Weeknd. He really inspired me to make that album the way that it came out, because I I still listen to that album, the
Yeah.
After Hours.
So good.
Yeah, I even got the vinyl for it, the
That's
one that has
cool.
the blood stains on it, and yeah, I just have it on the record player, and I haven't taken it out.
And he's another guy as well, though. Another artist that switches up his sound every single album.
Huh?
He's another artist as well that kind of changes his sound
Oh,
every
yeah,
single
yeah,
album.
definitely,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's so we were talking about like Tyler the Creator. I mean,
Yeah.
I love Tyler.
Yeah, I was
Oh my
about to
God.
say, like, we were talking earlier about people who change up their sound, and I think some pretty drastic ones. Tyler, the Creator, does it pretty often with each album.
Yeah.
MGK has gone into different genres now. Even Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
she was country, and then she was pop, and now she's doing like folk indie music.
Yeah.
Changing sounds doesn't necessarily, like Devin was saying, changing sounds doesn't necessarily mean people won't like one sound or the other. They like you. So if the sound is you, that's what'll transfer over. So I think,
No.
I think you're doing it good.
Well, hopefully people enjoy it, and get to visualize what I was kind of aiming for. And the reason why I named it Coffee Break is because coffee in general just gives me so many emotions. It makes me anxious. It makes me calm.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure it does that to a lot of people too. But
Yeah.
this album's gonna have a lot of that in there.
Okay.
So
That's cool. So when I talked with Zach, we talked about Hope Era. He told me how excited you were that we were using Lighthouse as our song. So, but he also did tell me that he kind of gave me a little he kind of paraphrased what y'all talked about. He said that with the Lighthouse that there was a lot of emotion you had in the song, and so I know that we just talked about it right when you showed up. You're you're your biggest critic when it comes to that song because you had said you made it a while back. But so what was the emotion behind that? What was the being able to express yourself through the music of that song, the sound of that song?
So, before I became the vocalist of Hope Era, Lighthouse was written with another vocalist in mind. I just wrote the guitar parts with my friend Mark. His version of the song was about a person who was suicidal, and he was their lighthouse. He was taking care of them, making sure they were okay. I didn't feel that whenever I heard the song. That's a great message, and I would be there for anybody who needed me. But the message I personally got from the song was, well, when I wrote the lyrics, I was going through a divorce, and I felt very lost. I felt like I was sinking. I felt like I was drowning. I felt like nothing made sense. I felt lost is a perfect way to describe it. And I guess I was looking for my lighthouse. I was looking for my light out in the sea, trying to make it through the darkness. So that's what Lighthouse was for me. Very emotional. For example, the lyrics, why am I stranded, and hasn't this ended, and I fought empty-handed to find what I've demanded. I feel like those lyrics are very powerful because I was alone for a long time, just stranded. I felt empty because I never had anything to fill the void that I was looking for. But I continued to fight because I knew that one day I would find that thing. I would find what I was looking for. I would find the next best thing, because marriage obviously wasn't it.
Right.
Wasn't what I was looking for. But it wasn't too long after that. I would say 2 years. 2 years after my divorce, I'm truly happy, and I'm ready to write Lighthouse Part 2.
Yeah.
Because at the end of Lighthouse Part 1, I say, is this it? Have I found my way back home? And in Lighthouse 2, I found my home. I found my light. I found my lighthouse in the sea. I'm no longer drowning. I'm no longer sinking. I feel content.
Right.
And that's what Lighthouse 2 is about. So, yeah.
I got you.
I'm fucking
also
cold.
yeah, it is really cold in here.
Yeah.
But
Y'all,
it's gonna make you way colder.
This is worse. I'm shaking.
Yeah,
That's
how
amazing,
about
man.
with you with Gilbert Soul? What's a song, if you could pick one out of all of the ones you've released, that you would say is representative of a lot of your struggles, or that was written from struggle?
Settle for This.
Okay.
I don't know
Why
if
is
you heard
that?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, in the second verse,
Of course I've heard it.
Huh?
Of course I heard it. Come on, man.
Of course. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. But yeah, the second verse I talk about how I'm staring at the prices every day, trying to figure out what sacrifice I'll have to make to get myself in the studio. That way I can lay my word on beats I make. I've been rotating on replay. Basically, it's like I've got all these instrumentals that I've produced on my phone, and I listen to them over and over and over and over again, and I write to them, whatnot. And I'm staring at the prices every day as far as the studio prices online, and I'm looking at them, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just looking at the price. There's nothing else I can do. So that's how Something in Store came about as far as the name of the album, because I felt whenever I finished that album, I just didn't want people to feel like that's all I had. I still have more. So Settle for This definitely does define me and my situation. Appreciate it. With music and being an upcoming artist. Hey, dude, shout out to Dev. He brought out some...
Dude, I'm fucking covered.
You look so happy right now.
Wool
Like,
blanket.
the blanket.
Blanket, there you go. Sorry, I was drawing a blanket here. But, yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh, yeah, no more shaking.
I know. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's really cold in here.
What's fucked
not
up is
that
like
cold.
I could have offered one of y'all the flannel, but because I'm wearing pants. But I was like, nah, it's cold as fuck. I'm not doing that. It's
You're
like
good, man. You're good.
It's not even that cold, guys.
You could have been the nice
Shit.
date, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
I got you a blanket though. It's okay.
Yeah, this is good enough, bro.
This is random, but you ever see that shit from Family Guy called the Wanket?
The wink it.
Yeah.
No, that just sounds dirty already.
It's
It is.
terrible. Like it's a blanket with fake arms on the front. It says, "Are you ever cold but also want to masturbate?" And then like
Oh
he's like,
my
introducing the Wanket. No one will ever know what you're doing under this blanket.
Jesus Christ.
No.
I've seen so many Family Guy episodes, but I cannot recall that one.
It's super funny, man. I'm sorry, Gilbert. I
No, you're
interrupted
good.
you.
You're good. No, yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So with new albums in store, what are some highs and lows that people can look forward to? Like you were saying, with now I'm completely blanking. I want to call it Settle for This.
You're drawing a blanket.
The master of puns here.
Blanket.
So back then it was issues with pricing. What are the issues? What are the new
What are the
things
issues now? Okay.
What are-
you know what? I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine, David Yera. He's been recording.
him.
That guy's awesome. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
him.
He's been
That's my buddy.
recording.
I don't know.
He's been recording the vocals for Coffee Break. I recorded some of these songs at Baron Studios, but it was getting too pricey.
Oh, I can
and
imagine.
I just couldn't afford it, and time was. When you're at the studio, minutes go by quicker than
Yeah.
in real life.
when you're paying for them?
And
Definitely.
but David Yera has been super helpful. I've been going to his studio, so if y'all want to go to the studio, y'all make sure to add him. It's David Yera _ let me figure it out. But he has been recording my vocals, and I'm practically done with the album, and I'm gonna take the stems to Baron Studio so that they can be mixed and mastered. David Yera also mixes and masters, but since I've already had a engineer work on the beginning of the album, I wanted to keep it with the same engineer.
Okay.
I had speech
Hence-
class with him in high school.
Oh, really? David
Yeah.
Yera?
Yeah, I had classes with him too.
Oh, that's cool.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's
He was
awesome.
cool. He's
And-
always been pretty cool.
Yeah, he's really cool. So I'm having the third album be mixed and mastered by him, which is I think I'm probably gonna call it Altitude, which is that song
That's
that you're
the song.
talking about.
Yeah. It's a really
so-
nice song.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I
So,
enjoyed that one a lot.
Money is still an issue,
Of
but
course.
it's always gonna be an issue. But I think the only thing right now is just time. Time is what's kind of scaring me, you know.
Yeah, dude.
Dude,
you
as
got
we
due
get
dates
older,
and stuff like that.
time is a very scary thing, man.
No.
It's already about to be July, dude. Like, think about that.
Stop.
Yeah,
You know?
2021.
Look, guys,
we're
look.
almost.
Life is the longest thing we're ever going to do. Don't worry about time.
I wish I could look at it that way. I
Uh,
really wish I could.
You're going to spend your whole life looking at things different ways. Your perspective's going to change every 25 years probably.
As time goes.
Probably less than that. Every 5 years. How many 5 years are in 100 years of life?
You really think we'll live to be 100?
Alexa,
Hey, stay healthy.
Alexa, what's 5
Of
divided
course
by
you
100?
could.
I suppose. I mean, personally, as Hope Era, my hardest thing is like finding a drummer. We've had so many drummers in our band, and it's not that there's not many around. It's just finding somebody who's willing to play the music. You know, the last two drummers I had were great, but they have so many projects of their own that Hope Era isn't their
Primary
biggest-
focus.
Yeah, primary focus. If I could find a drummer right now, I'd be playing shows every other weekend. That's just the way it is. That's the only like hard thing I have going on or whatever. Like the only issue I have. Like as far as recording goes and everything, I could get it done. I'll make it happen. But finding a drummer has been my biggest problem since I was like 14 years old. Man,
I was a drummer for 2 bands. I was the drummer in one with Carl Hinkie,
I remember that guy.
with
Oh,
Carl
Carl Hinkie,
and
yeah.
Eric and Brian Robles.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a band with them, and I was playing bass, and we were going to play Under the Bridge at one of the school show.
That's pretty cool.
And
show?
yeah,
Pop show.
one of them. And I was having issues getting the bass line because it's Flea, and this was like I said, I didn't own a bass, and I was, like I was saying earlier before we got in here, I didn't own a bass, so I didn't practice very often, but I was like, yeah, I play bass. And so I picked up a bass, and I was like, I can read tabs, like, so just print out the tabs for me and I'll play them. And I was playing them, but there were a couple lines where I was having issues, particularly the riff that Flea plays at the end of the song, which he plays here and there throughout the song, but it goes on for a while towards the last chorus and verse. And it was very hard. I was having issues getting it. And so when we were taking a break, Brian came over, and he was playing drums because Carl told me that their drummer just wasn't showing up. So he was like, yeah, we're going to get someone else. And I was like, okay, cool. And then we got Brian. And so Brian plays acoustic guitar really well. And he picked up the bass and just started. He was like, well, let me try. And he's looking at the tabs, and he's like piecing it together. And I'm just watching him do it. And I'm like, sick. And then he plays he plays the riff like after a few tries. And I'm like, well, dude, you just do that then, because I'm having so many issues with it. You just do that, and I'll see if I can do the drums. And I was having issues. This was the first time I tried to play drums for a band, and I got to a point where I was like, can't do this, Carl. I'm sorry. And he's like, come on, you're getting it. And I was like, I can't do the stupid fill thing. And then I did a fill, and I was like, oh. And he's like, exactly. You can't just give up. Like, you can do it. You're just thinking about it, which is actually an issue that I'm finding I still have when we go to Muay Thai training. I think too much. Anyway, so I started working on certain songs that would help me get better at drums, and Smells Like Teen Spirit was one of them. But the other band that I played drums for was with Joey, a good guitarist friend of ours. Joey, if you listen, I don't know if you do or not, but shout out to Joey. He's an amazing guitarist. But so there were a few people in this band. There was this girl Amanda, who is a fantastic singer, very reminiscent of Haley Williams. And then we had this guitarist who was our lead guitarist, this guy Jeremy. And then we had, I believe his name was Trevor, who was the bassist, and then I was coming on as drums. And me and Joey had a drum set. Or we actually, because of this, we went and bought a drum set with a double bass, and it was beautiful. I loved it. It was PDP. It was perfect.
I know what drum set you're talking about. I've seen it.
I loved it so much. But anyway, so we started trying to do that, and nothing ever happened with it because the guitarist and the singer got into an argument, and both of them just dropped. And then it was me, Joey, and Trevor. And I was like, you know what? This is fine anyway. And we had one practice together where we played like blues with some like heavy metal guitar. But it was the coolest thing I had ever done. And then Trevor disappeared. And 2 years later, we found out he went to Las Vegas.
I thought you were saying something way worse, honestly.
Yeah, me
No.
too. I was like, oh crap.
So me and Joey were just like, I guess this is never happening.
Oh man.
So
sucks.
like I said, I play drums, but I don't have a drum set, so I can't help you.
Well, I mean, if anybody listening plays drums and wants to play some badass shows, hit me up because we almost played with the Fall of Troy, but they didn't want any local bands, so there's
What?
that. Yeah, dude. Fuck.
Isn't that the whole fucking point to opening?
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
I have a drummer who's willing to play only if we open up for Fall of Troy, believe it or not.
Really? Who is it?
His name is Eric
Call him
Marin.
out.
He's the guy who played
Okay.
with us the last year
Yeah.
of Hope Arrow's existence.
He's very
He
good
played
at
every
playing
so-
drums.
He's so good. He had the juice. He had the sauce. He
Yeah.
played the Hope Arrow songs perfectly. But he has his own music, which
Yeah.
is so good. It's under Eric Marin. He has this one song called I think like Two of Me or something like that. I listen to the song almost every day. It's a really good song. If I could have him as a drummer, I totally would. He's so great. We played with the Fall of Troy singer in his like solo artist band or whatever. That was really cool. But to be honest, I would prefer to play with Fall of Troy. We were so close. I talked to the promoter. He was like, "Yeah, as soon as I know if a local band can play, you guys are on." No local bands are
That's
allowed.
ridiculous.
Yeah, so I was this close, like fucking this close to playing with my fucking heroes. But whatever, you know.
That would happen again, man.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. Because of what happened to me this year during California, we played a very, I can't talk about it too much because I signed a contract, but soon something's going to come out on Amazon Prime. Everybody will be able to see it. My old band Mirror Lake was on it. I'm no longer in this band. I was for a while, for about a year, but I'm no longer in Mirror Lake. We were on a TV show. You'll be able to watch it on Amazon Prime. But we almost got a lot of things done. I got to meet a lot of my heroes. We went on a shopping spree. It was really fun. But at the end of the day, I realized that touring and being a part of a professional band is not for me.
Really?
It's something I had wanted since I was like 12 years old. But once I finally went into that world and realized it, I don't want to do that. It's not for me. I'm not willing to sell my soul. I'm not willing to let somebody tell me I got to do this, I got to do that. I'm not important. Nah, not for me.
That's why there's so many independent artists out now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Independent artists right now are ruling the world because if you're signed, you literally have to do whatever they tell you to do, and if you don't do it, you're gone. You're not important. You don't matter. So if you can make it as an independent artist, I say go do it, because being signed is not all it's out to be. You know, you are literally controlled. You are literally told what to do, and yes, you have an advantage as far as marketing, promotion, and you know, the famous musicians or whatever. But in the end of the day, it's not really you.
Yeah, you won't be able to be yourself anymore.
You cannot be yourself.
Would you ever want to
That's
tour
that.
as Gilbert's Soul?
Sure, but independently.
Independently.
It's hard. It's hard
Yeah,
to do
it
that,
is
bro.
very hard, but
You gotta spend a lot of
honestly,
money.
I've always felt like I just want to be known locally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and be able to live off of what I love to do.
You want to put on for your city.
Yeah, H-Town, Pasadena.
Hold it down.
Each time, hold it down, babe.
Yeah.
So like with that, like I remember, who was that? Mac Miller was actually the first artist in 16 years for his album to hit #1 on the Billboard 100. When his first album was Blue Side Park. Besides that, it was everybody that was signed to big labels that had their albums in the #1 spot. But he was the first artist in a long fucking time to be able to do it. And then who else? Like Frank Ocean talked about it as well. Whenever he ended, I forgot who he was signed with. I think it was Def Jam. He was signed with them, and then whenever he was finally able to get out of his deal with them, it was a big deal. And so it was just artists are just now speaking out against them because they're just realizing they can't do anything at all. Like A Day to Remember. Another
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, they got screwed.
Yeah, but Zach caught me up on all of that.
Dude,
got
I
screwed.
was so proud of them though.
They have done so well for themselves.
This is
So well.
less of an opinion, more of like a thought, like a thread of thoughts that I've had. Now they're with Fueled by Ramen. Have you heard their new album?
I'm not a fan.
I love it, but I get it. I get why people aren't as big of a fan. So here's like my thread of thoughts is they went from Victory Records
Mm-hmm.
and then did Common Courtesy,
Right.
and then were like doing everything on their own independently, and then they came out with Bad Vibrations, and then they're Fueled by Ramen, and this is their new album. This is their new sound. The song High Diving specifically makes me think of Paramore, who's also on Fueled by Ramen. You don't agree, or you don't?
I'm not a fan of it.
Oh,
but
but
it's okay.
do you
it's okay.
see what I'm saying?
I
though?
see what you're saying, though.
It's the same
it's very
sound.
reminiscent.
So, did they really just go from this huge fight with Victory over to Fueled by Ramen just to do what Victory was telling them to do in the first place?
So what I feel like they were doing is because Victory was controlling them and taking all their money and telling them, hey, you should probably do this and that. I feel like because I'm sure Fueled by Ramen said, hey, you know what? Y'all are so notorious. Y'all do whatever you want and we'll back you. Since they did whatever they want, they felt power, they felt empowered. But in my opinion, it wasn't. I don't know.
Do you think Fueled by Ramen impacted their sound at all?
I don't think they told them what to do because, to be honest,
I don't believe they did either.
Panic at the Disco, their album, what is it called? This Is Gospel or whatever it's called. With that song, This Is Gospel, that was an amazing album, really good. You're making that face. Brendan Urie was basically a solo artist at that point.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was the most Panic at the Disco album that you could get.
To me, that was Pretty Odd. I loved Pretty Odd so much.
Okay, I see.
I feel like A Fever You Can't Sweat Out was Panic at the Disco at the time, and then Pretty Odd was Panic at the Disco, and then everything after that is Brendan Urie.
I get it, but I just feel like A Day to Remember.
I
They're
love
at this
the new
point
album.
where they can do whatever they want and still blow up.
Well, so the reason I started having those thoughts was, if I remember right, Jeremy McKinnon said that Fueled by Ramen told them some guys to go talk to help make music and to come up with new sounds and new ideas, and it was the same guys who did a lot of songs for a lot of major pop artists, and that's kind of why they had one of these sounds that is kind of a generic sound.
I mean, their most famous song on that album is Mind Reader, and I feel like I could have heard that song from
That sounds like a Fall Out Boy song.
any artist. Exactly. They're a great band, but nothing after Homesick resonates with me. So
I love all their albums. I get what you're saying, and deep inside I agree. But I think I think they're changing because they've changed.
that's normal. I mean, Metallica. Look at them. Yeah. Metallica will always be the greatest
I
example.
don't know if y'all know about Gilbert's Soul, but his sound's changing.
That's good though for a local artist. I think that's amazing because a lot of local artists will sound the same.
Yeah, they're afraid to do
Yeah.
big changes because they don't feel like they have the traction to start making changes. But if you start off making changes, I feel like that just reaches out to a big audience.
Yes, I agree. So, good luck and congratulations. That's amazing. Yes.
Thank you. Gracias. I appreciate it.
One thing I find interesting about having both y'all here as well, though, is like y'all's vocal styles are completely different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I'm impressed with both of y'all's vocals. Like when you came in, we started talking because I talked to you before at Zach's wedding, but like hearing you talk and then hearing you sing, it's just like it's almost like two different people. It's crazy that you have so much confidence and comfortability in your voice to take it in certain ranges that it's like, man, my voice would crack like I'm 13 again. Like if I try to do that. You know, it's super cool to hear. Like I think it's cool to hear that, and like you said, your soul, like you go by Gilbert Soul because your soul is your music, and like with your voice, you show so much confidence. It shows who you are through your voice.
Appreciate
And so
it,
I see that a lot, and I think that's one of the great things about music. I've gotten involved with music since I was 12. Started playing guitar. I was much as I fucking hated band, high school band. I was in band all from sixth grade all the way till I graduated.
Damn.
But like, it was just stuff like that. I mean, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed playing music though.
Music's
And
amazing.
then I hear like your vocals. Like I remember like talking with Zach. I've always wanted to learn how to vocal fry and like growl and all that. Dude, it's so cool. Like and he was like, you should check out my friend Walter. And so he showed me some of your music. And it's nuts to me like that you can do that with your voice. Like it's so fucking impressive.
I can do that as easily as I can talk. Like I've been doing that since I was maybe 14 years old. Some of my favorite artists are like death metal artists. Like, dude, Chuck Schuldiner from Death is so amazing. Like the vocals don't even make sense. They're fucking like high as fuck and crazy, but you can understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like I think my biggest inspiration though is Thomas Eric from the Fall of Troy, because like he does like these screams that sound like a fucking pterodactyl. Like, like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but he's kind of whack though. I heard he doesn't like having local bands opening for his shows.
Hope Era could have opened for you, Fall of Troy. I guarantee you, I could have sold all 50 tickets, whatever,
All 50
bro.
tickets.
But as far as screaming goes, I've been doing that since I was 13, 14 years old. Like,
Did you take lessons?
I didn't take any lessons. So, well, I mean, YouTube doesn't count, but I guess.
I was about to say, did you do those Cannibal Corpse YouTube channels?
So what I did was there was this guy named Etienne Sin.
Okay.
He made videos and I watched them, and I eventually bought this DVD by what's her name? Fuck, I can't remember her name, but it's called The Zen of Screaming. That's what got me to
she's
do
like known as the
Melissa Cross.
She like helps all these
Yes.
scream bands and shit.
She's
Yeah,
helping
yeah.
Lamb of God every time I
Dude,
die.
she's fucking badass.
The Connie Empire. Yeah.
I know I can't.
like
She goes by
Connie
a certain
Empire.
like the metal or something.
Melissa Cross. That's
yeah.
her name.
She goes by
So,
something, but yeah, she's cool.
her lessons helped me as a person. I can scream, I can do whatever the fuck you need me to do. I can do it because of her. So I bought her DVD and it helped me. I recommend that to anybody who wants to do like screaming or fry vocals. It's gonna help you. I've definitely I could talk about it all day. Screaming makes sense because of her. It doesn't hurt my throat. I could do a whole hour set without worrying about the next day. It's amazing. I don't know. The reason I was complaining about Lighthouse in particular is because whenever I did Lighthouse, I was just now getting into screaming again. I wasn't like doing it every day. It was just like, fuck, our vocalist quit the band, so here I am. I'm just gonna do it.
I'm gonna fucking nut up.
I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what Hope Era is now, and I'm writing all the songs, trying to find a drummer. We have a bass player, but he doesn't write. He's just a session bass player. You know, he knows my songs and he plays my songs and he does a thing. But if I wrote a new song, it would just be me.
Right.
So
And so like with that, I mean, whenever you learn how to growl and do all that shit, like was from how you did it at 14 to now, is it like completely different? Now it's like,
oh yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I fucked up my voice. Like the way I sound now, I didn't sound like this at 14. My voice was not scratchy. I felt like maybe I messed up my diaphragm or something because I was just scream. I would annoy my mom. I don't know. I would do it during classes. I was just like, I don't even care. I was trying to scream. I was trying to learn how to scream. But I don't think I did it right. I would use my throat a lot. Now I can use my diaphragm. Now I understand where my head voice and my whatever other voice is. It makes more sense to me now. But yeah, that's why I complain about Lighthouse, because now I can scream the shit out of Lighthouse. If you were to go watch a concert now,
yeah.
it would sound different.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you like the song. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. What's it called? One of the vocalists that I like a lot is Phil Bozeman from Whitechapel.
That's cool.
And I really like Whitechapel, and I always find a lot of people who don't really like them, and I'm like,
No,
man.
they're good.
But I like him.
Great
I think
vocals.
he's a great vocalist though, and he can do both really well.
Mhm.
And he can sing and he can growl just as good. He has really good vocal fries, all that. And he talks about it. I mean, because I used to go and watch his YouTube videos and see how he does it and stuff. And
Right.
he just like he talks about like how he'll do certain like warm ups so he's like, I don't want to blow out my vocal cords. Like that's the biggest thing. And he drinks like a ton of water before he does these. I'm very hydrated. I don't drink beer before I go up there. I don't do any of that. Like,
Dude, if you drink beer, you're fucking yourself. Straight
Yeah.
up. So, yeah.
and so what's it called? Like before I was listening to Chelsea Grin today, like some of their older stuff. I think it's nuts that the only original member in that band is David Blinn.
You'd be surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Woe Is Me before they broke up. They had
Tyler
so
Carter.
many bands, like so many members who were different.
Yeah.
I gotta pee. I'll be back, guys.
Do you think?
Oh, You're right.
Yeah, I'm good.
So we'll ask you about yours, Gilbert Soul. So what's up? Go ahead.
When did you find your voice?
Yeah.
When and how did you find your voice?
I don't know if it's whenever I said mom or dad first.
Oh my goodness.
It's either one of those. I'm not sure.
We'll ask your. No, I'm just kidding. Call your mom right now. We'll ask her now. So, like, what got you comfortable with the range? Because I'm sure, like, how old were you when you got into like making music and wanted to make be a singer and stuff?
Okay, so I remember that going to like either Walmart or Target,
Mm-hmm.
I would always want to go to the toy section, but not to look at the toys, but look at the little keyboards that they had there.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always just grab one and go throughout the whole store while my parents were shopping, and I would be playing the little piano, the keyboard. I just liked making sounds. And then eventually at one point my dad was fixing some car for some guy. Can't remember his name, but I was inside the house and they had this half piano, it's like a piano that's cut in half. I don't know how to
Baby grand.
not a baby. Oh, I don't know, but it's like on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? Baby grand?
No, I don't think that's it.
I have no idea.
Well, so the piano was there, and I was playing, and I played the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star song,
Yeah.
and I hadn't played it before, and I figured it out, and so that was at a very early age for me, and then my brother-in-law Hugo, he actually raps as well, and he's the one that introduced me on to how to create a verse, as far as like how to like
piece it all
piece
together.
it all together. Exactly. He taught me about the chorus, the verse, and stuff like that. So shout out to Hugo. I actually have him on a song for this upcoming album. It's gonna be called "Don't Let It," so I'm excited for that one. Yeah, I've been making music for a while now.
Yeah. And so, what
For a
got
little.
you comfortable with like when it came to singing? Like,
The singing, I remember I was in 6th grade, I think, and that's whenever that Chris Brown song with Jordan Sparks, I believe, the No Air.
yeah.
So that one came out, and a good friend of mine, her name is Cassandra, she wrote down the lyrics, and she's like, "Look, you'll sing this part, and I'll sing this part." And I was like, and we were going through to some trip or something like that for school, and we were in the bus, and so I really liked the song, so I sung the Chris Brown part, and she sung the Jordan Sparks part, and that's whenever I kind of found out that I was able to carry a tune, so ever since then I just started just going, moving forward. I don't know.
And so when it came to you, like, experimenting with your range, with your music, like the music you make now with your albums, so it was very comfortable. It was very easy for you to do so.
Yeah. Oh, also I took choir, so I was.
Okay,
in choir.
I was about to ask. Yeah,
I was
okay.
in choir, so that helped out a lot.
Were you in theater? In high
I
school?
wish I was in theater. I feel like I can act a little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's called. I know some schools they do like musicals and stuff. My high school did musicals and
Oh,
stuff.
really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So-
I had seen my nephew. He actually fixes the background of the
Mm-hmm.
whatchamacallit? The
Stage tech?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stage set. Yeah, and they did one for Beauty and the Beast. Oh man, it came out really really awesome.
That's cool shit.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I always wanted to do something like that. Yeah.
With this is just a thought I had at some point. With music, I was just thinking with humans, we didn't create music.
Mm-hmm.
We were inspired to design it after things that already existed.
Mm-hmm.
So like sounds of nature or birds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you could pick a sound that might have inspired you to come up with a song, or you think could be representative of your music or your sound in your head, what sound would you say, what primal sound would come up with your music?
The sound of the ocean. Just like the waves, like the ambience. That's kind of what helped me with Lighthouse. I don't know. Just I wanted the feeling of being lost, and just being out in the sea or being stranded in the sea. Just like the ultimate feeling of lost. Like I don't know, being stranded. Imagine just being on a boat in the sea in the middle of nowhere. Where do you go?
That's
Left,
scary
right?
as hell.
You
just
don't know
enjoy
where
it.
the fuck you go, dude. There's just water all around you. That's the ultimate feeling of being lost.
Well, some people would find that like the sound of waves. Some people play that intentionally.
It would be comforting, right?
Yeah.
But it scares me. Like,
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable.
The ocean's scary as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the ocean, but it's terrifying when you really think about it.
Mm.
Like,
Honestly,
you don't know what's
There's
there.
stuff down there that you
Yeah.
don't know about.
How
There'd be
about
a
with
fucking
Gilbert's?
swordfish this long.
Yeah.
How about with Gilbert's soul?
Gosh. Can you explain that to me like I was 5?
Okay.
No, I don't know. Cause see, I don't know.
So,
Like
so music was created
I
by humans.
I like
quote-
sounds in general, so it's difficult for me to pick just one sound, because
Okay.
I produced the music, so it's just like.
Well, I'm
I
just
don't know.
saying, like, if you were to have come up with some sounds or some songs that you could equate to sounds you hear out in the world.
You know what? Okay. The ambience of people moving around, cars, stuff like that,
Okay.
and the first thought that comes to my mind is New York. Just the sound of live, moving,
Some honking.
honking, stuff like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like I could do something like that. Thank you. You've inspired me. Now I'm gonna make a
Oh,
song.
Interesting.
So one of the things I've always found when I listen, because I got into Chelsea Grin pretty late, and I've also found out a lot of people really don't listen to them as much either. And
Their
but they're
vocalist sounds like Marge from The Simpsons.
but their drummer is really good though.
Yes.
He's great, but he also has really good vocals. I'm not sure if y'all have ever, but he's in the background. He's back vocals for a couple songs before, and there's even been stories like I heard a story they did a show in Australia one time, and I think a guy's his last name's Baker. He passed out on stage from the heat, and so the drummer actually did the whole show, the drums and the vocals for the entire show. Cause yeah, like he's super fucking impressive, man. I would definitely check that guy out. I'm blanking on his name.
I believe it because the drummer of Mastodon
That's who I was actually going to bring up.
is so amazing.
he's-
He does the same
they-
shit.
They literally have said that when they play songs live, they don't even expect him to play the actual song. They're just like, yeah, no, we'll go out there. He'll play whatever it is he's going to play.
Oh wow.
And we know it'll match with what we need it to
That's
be.
pretty cool.
They are a unity.
Yeah.
They're so good. I've seen Mastodon live maybe one time and it was so good. Oh my god.
They're something else.
Yeah.
Their bassist is good too.
Jesus
He
Christ.
slides up and down those strings so
Troy
often.
Sanders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it tears my fingers up trying to play his music.
Dude, bass is hard to play. I don't care what anybody says. I used to think that bass was like easy, boring. No. Bass is hard to play.
Yeah, especially over long periods of time.
Yes. the
Because like
fucking
guitar strings will kind of like dig into your fingers, but
Little
bass
bit.
bass will rub your fingers raw and then dig into them.
Yeah,
and it
but you
just
still
doesn't
gotta do it.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still gotta do it. so
and you're only
whatever.
halfway through one song.
Yep.
Dang. You'll have major callus.
I love playing
Oh, yeah.
bass for this band I'm in. It's so fun. It's
I love
so
playing
fun.
bass too.
Bass is fun.
Speaking of drummers, y'all have ever seen Whiplash?
Yes.
Oh man, I
With
love that movie.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
Lou?
I love that movie.
Everybody knows what scene we're talking about.
The
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah.
Gosh, and then the look that he gives him of approval, like wow, like,
Finally.
yeah.
I get it, but if someone's smacking me in the head, I'm gonna start having
I
problems
can't
with
take
them.
that. Yeah, I don't
They
think
start
I can
throwing
take anything
chairs at me?
physical. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
No, if you touch me,
Mm-mm.
buddy.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
when he
I don't.
berates him like and stuff in the what's it called, the first, like they're doing their first session,
Yeah.
he talks so much crap to him right there. I can't repeat it because he says a word in there that is very, very bad. But it makes me laugh though when I'm like watching that. It's not funny. I'm sure if I've never seen the movie,
Oh, okay.
and so but like I don't mind if I'll spoil it as well because I'm sure I'll still go back and watch it. But and he like makes me cry and stuff, and I was like I try not to laugh at it because he just talks so much shit to him. Yeah, like J.K. Simmons plays such a good bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so yeah.
Spider-Man.
You know, one movie that I always remember that Zach recommended to me was The Green Room.
Oh, dude, that's such a good movie.
This is a fucking
That's so cool.
crazy movie. Yeah, dude.
freaking Patrick Stewart. You would never expect him to be a Nazi or a neo-Nazi.
Dude.
Spoiler alerts to whoever's
Nah, that's
listening.
the second he shows up, you know who he is.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
an
You know who-
old-ass
you know who
movie.
he's
It's-
with.
yeah.
You're like,
Oh.
okay, this is a terrible person. The second he shows up. That's the whole point of the movie.
I've played some crappy shows in the past, but that takes the cake, dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I won't spoil the movie, I guess.
Watch
but,
it, Green Room, yes.
the synopsis of this movie is that this band is like this like thrash punk band, and they're playing at some bar which is like run by neo-Nazis, so the crowd at this bar is mostly neo-Nazis. This band doesn't really conform with that, so they're kind of getting booed off. They're not getting a good reaction from the crowd, and they end up going backstage, but they witness something on their way there, so they get kind of held captive there, and they have to fight their way out.
Wow.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
It's
I gotta
crazy.
check
It's
it.
intense.
Gotta
Yeah.
watch it. Yeah.
Also, if you haven't seen The Rocker, that's a good movie too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Rainn
that
Wilson.
movie's
Rainn
hilarious.
I have the movie and I haven't played it.
What
I have
was-
it on
What?
DVD. I have it on DVD and I haven't
Watch
seen
it.
What was his band's name? Start with a V. I
It
can't
was Vesuvius.
Oh, Vesuvius, yeah.
Yeah, Vesuvius.
Wait, did I watch that movie? I probably did watch it. I just don't remember. It's been a while.
Have y'all seen The Dirt?
Yeah.
The Dirt. That's a
Oh,
good movie.
the Motley Crue movie?
Yeah, that's
I
good.
actually haven't seen it yet.
I went to
I really
that
want
bar.
to.
I went to that bar where they were getting a blowjob, and I sat at that table. I sat at that table.
Did you wipe it down first?
No,
Oh.
bro. I just got a pizza. I was drunk as fuck. I was on one of the highest highs I've ever been on. Like, just on top of the world, sitting at the table. Like, yeah, dude, I'm not getting a blowjob, but this is cool.
It's cool. Pizza's still cool.
It's still cool.
It's fucking funny,
Pizza
man.
is $22 for
Yeah.
cheese.
Oh.
For
Wow.
one beer, it is $10. Prepare your anus. It is not very fun. Prepare to spend $50 on yourself,
Fuck, man.
$50.
and the wait is hours.
So since you kind of toured a little bit whenever you were with Mirror Lake, right? So and when you watch a movie like The Dirt, do you feel like The Dirt just kind of glamorizes a lifestyle that's not really like that?
The lifestyle is totally like that if you allow it to be. So you would be surprised at the kind of people you meet. Like it's 100% accurate what you see in The Dirt or any type of like what they call it, biopics or whatever. 100% accurate. But it depends on you as a person to decide what you do.
If you're going to be that crazy or
If
not.
you're gonna be that if you're gonna be that crazy person, or if you're just gonna be a very humble, like whatever, we're doing what we gotta do and we're going home kind of person, it's very easy to let yourself go and become that rock star, like, come on, gimme kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl brings his family on tour a lot.
And so does Anthony Green. For example, the last few shows that Anthony Green has played, he brought his sons. That's why I personally feel like it's just not for me, because I'm not that kind of person. I can't just be so selfish where I can just be like, I don't care about anybody else. I'm just going to do whatever that favors me. I just can't. The whole time I was gone, I kept thinking about my family and my unborn child. Like, I can't be selfish anymore. So being a rock star is fun. Doing the things of a rock star is fun. Meeting all the people is cool. But at the end of the day, if you're not willing to be selfish and just think about yourself, it's not going to work out. And I care about my family way too much to just go out there and do my own thing. So
Right.
trust me, I could be doing that right now. I could be signed. I could be doing the things I want to do for my whole life, but it's just not for me anymore.
Yeah.
So
That's what who's that? Whenever me and Zach talked about this, we were watching like old Slipknot videos the other day, and like how all of them were next the other day. You
Oh
good?
gosh.
You need some water? And so
Wrong pipe there.
Yep. Nice.
what's that? So we were watching old Slipknot videos the other day.
Oh, gosh,
man.
you good, man? All
I
right.
didn't expect that. I was like, "Fuck, what just happened?"
Holy shit, was like, what's going on? Okay.
So
I
but-
almost died, guys.
About to explode.
So we were watching like old Slipknot videos the other day, and like it talks about like how all of them were at each other's necks because they were all there for separate reasons, and they all couldn't stand each other. Like, and the biggest one that always like stood out to us is like you with Nick Thompson, because he's this big guy. He's a fucking force of nature, bro. He's huge.
Crazy, yeah, I know.
And he's just but he keeps to himself. He's very secluded, and he talks about like when they would go on tour, when he decided to get sober because he was having a family and all that stuff. He said that he just stayed in his own room.
Was it Mick or was it James?
It was Mick.
It was Mick. Okay.
Yeah, and Mick, he just stayed in his own tour bus. He wouldn't travel with them. He just played video games the entire time. And he was like, yeah, I would just do. He's like, I didn't want to be around that. I was tired of being around fighting and drinking and drugs all the time.
I can tell you that is 100%. Like I can feel that because I can resonate with that, because whenever I was doing something similar to that, the whole time I was on the phone with my girlfriend, I was texting her, I was calling her, FaceTiming. I didn't care about the glamorous stuff that was going on around me. I miss my family.
Yep.
Sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes it's not. In that moment, which again y'all will be able to see on Amazon Video, it wasn't worth it for me. I did not feel like the band mattered more than my family. Had I done that maybe at 17, 18, oh yeah, whatever. I don't care about anybody else. Myself, I would have done whatever it takes.
Yep.
Now as who I am at 25, my family mattered more than me, and
That's cool.
again, you'll see that they made me do things that I didn't expect to do. I can't really talk about it because I signed a contract of,
loose lip sync ships.
I can only talk about stuff here and there, but if I were to give it away, I would get sued.
Right.
So
Don't break
it'll
that
come out.
contract.
It'll come out soon. You'll be able to see it on Amazon Video. But I made the decision that was right for me on national television, and my family matters more to me than music. I love music. It's my passion. But at the end of the day, I will always stand up for my family, and I will always do what I need to do to protect them. Music will always be my passion, but no, my family matters.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Very hard decision.
could you talk about who's on this TV show or no?
It's all I can say is that
I'm curious now.
a record label
Uh-huh.
picked 25 bands to perform against each other,
Okay, that's cool.
like American Idol almost. You play original music, and whoever has the best music will get signed by this label and get like this multi-million contract and a tour and a festival. Well, we didn't win that show, so you'll see what happens next.
Okay, we'll switch it up. I don't want you to get in
So,
trouble.
so
I don't wanna get in trouble
we're gonna
at
be
all, so, yeah.
we're gonna be coming to an end pretty soon. So one thing that I want to do that we kind of do when we have guests is celebrity fights. Pick a celebrity who of all the celebrities, dead or alive, who would you fight?
Who would I fight?
Yeah,
win or lose. Just
like when we had a friend of ours, Caleb, we ended up talking about Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Why?
Why not? I would fight him.
Why would you fight Steven Seagal? Let me know
Because he's
why.
a freaking punk.
Why?
Because he's a punk. He hurts people for no reason. He can't hurt people. He doesn't know how to hurt people properly. He's a sham.
People proper.
he's a sham. He really is. That's real.
I can't say because like I've met so many of these famous people that I would want to fight. It's like at this point, if I were to say a name, I feel like I would get in trouble.
Honestly, if it gets back
We
to
don't
that
have-
person, I'm just gonna be really happy that we spread out that far. So say what you
I can't stand. No, you know what? No, you go first.
I don't have anybody in mind, to be honest.
no.
Can't do
No.
this.
You would fight The Weeknd?
Why would I want to fight the Weeknd?
Yeah,
Because-
why would you want to
Because
fight
how
The
cool would
Weeknd?
it be for you to say, yeah, I got into a fist fight with him?
What?
We're cool,
What
but we
do
just got
you
into a
want,
fist fight.
though?
Not even that. I think he's an incredible artist. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't
He's
wanna
a really
fight
nice
him.
person.
You know what happens when artists fight?
What?
They write songs about it.
I'll fight War Machine because I dreamt about him.
Oh, there you go.
Rest in
And
peace
I'll
to
be
me.
there with you in case you need me. So there you go.
There we go. We have concluded because I cannot say any other names because I definitely have names I could say.
Pick some ones that you.
I cannot stand Kellen Quinn.
Oh, why not? No, I get it.
That's all I'm gonna say. His music is good, but that's it.
Who's that?
Okay. The singer for Sleeping with Sirens.
That's it.
He's a twig.
I feel like I've said enough.
All right.
I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
Who's the fifth? And who? Why are you pleading to fight him?
I plead the fifth.
Have you ever seen that fight against Kimbo Slice? I'm just joking.
Changing topic. That's funny.
Would you fight Chuck Norris?
No.
Norris, no. Why would I
No.
fight Chuck Norris?
Because it's a cool thing to be able to say that you fought
Well,
Chuck Norris.
just imagine Chuck Norris. You look at him, you're dead.
Yeah,
That doesn't count.
Yeah.
I would feel bad fighting Chuck Norris though. Honestly, he seems like such a nice guy, but I also know he could fucking kill me.
I've drove by his house at least 5 times in my lifetime. It's pretty cool. He has a whole ass ranch.
I bet.
Cool.
Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yes. He beat Jet Li?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
No, Jet Li won.
Oh, Jet
come
Li
on.
won? Oh, okay.
I mean, why are we sitting here talking Jet Li? Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
My bad. Mistakes have been made.
So, what about Bruce Lee? Gilbert's soul? Would you fight Bruce Lee? You were
No.
a
I would
student.
want to be taught by
You were a
him.
student of Jeet Kune Do. How do you get taught? You spar.
Yeah, by sparring. But I doubt I would get to spar him because I would have to go through levels in order to get.
Well, this
him.
is a hypothetical situation where you're
so
going to do
you
it.
actually gotta fight each other to events.
Hmm?
Like this is an actual thing. You actually gotta spar or.
No, I'm just kind of just.
You
It's
got
not
this from-
hard, guys.
you
Just
got
pick
this from
someone.
Fight Club.
No, just fight. Just pick someone who you would fight. Why is this so hard?
Can it be a cartoon?
Yeah, of course
Johnny
it can.
Bravo.
Do you fight Johnny Bravo?
Dude, yeah.
How would you win?
I'd fucking nut punch him. He'd be like, "Oh, mom, mama."
I was gonna ask you, have you ever read Bruce Lee's book on Jeet Kune Do?
No.
I
Check
read
it out.
Chris Angel's book.
Mine. I can't concentrate, so
Okay.
I wish that I could read, but I can't. And
Oh,
I'll be on the first page and I'll reread it like maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So, and it sucks because I like learning, you know. I don't know. It depends.
All right. Well, for closing, we got you fighting Kellen Quinn. Name a celebrity.
God damn it.
Name a celebrity.
He was so nice
You got
to
5
me
seconds.
5 seconds. Dang,
too. Mike Myers.
who would be cool to fight?
Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat.
You would fight Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he would take you. He would take
He
you.
would be anybody, bro. Just imagine.
You have no idea what he's got in that hat.
He has a fucking punch. From One Punch Man.
He keeps a
Saitama?
baseball bat on him just in case.
Ugh.
Keeps that
Like,
thing
I'm
on
gonna
him.
fuck you up,
He's
bro. I got a
He's
hat.
got that motherfucking thing on him.
I'll just give him some milk. He's lactose.
Alrighty. Well, is there anything you want to end on for Hope Era?
Listen to Izanami and let me know if you want to be my drummer. We're gonna play a lot of shows if you're down.
And plug
And-
all your stuff.
Check out Hope
also,
and Luna.
Hope and Luna, we've been streaming a lot. We recently became affiliates. We stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Hope and Luna. We stream almost every day. Come check us out. We stream tonight. We play Fortnite. We're probably gonna play Zelda pretty soon. Come see us.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at Rely on Realness, and I have the Instagram name for David Yera. It's David Yera 7 if y'all wanna get at him for some studio time, and listen to my album. It's called Something in Store. It was released in 2019, and the next upcoming album is gonna come out 2021. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me out here.
Thank y'all for coming on.
Yeah, this was really fun.
And
We'll probably do it
what
again.
platforms can we find your Gilbert Soul on?
All platforms, all music platforms,
And-
Apple, Spotify, etc.
Cool. And for what about for Hope Era?
Same thing with Hope Era. You can find Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud. In fact, we got approved by so many different streaming services. Just go listen to it. Let me know what you think.
Alrighty. Till next time, everybody.